Happy New Year! And 2018 is set in motion. How exciting, right? And it has me thinking a lot lately about evolution and not how man became a race of human beings, but more so in regards to human behavior and how evolution is how we are evolving through our individual lifespans. And this is a big way that I stay up because to understand and really know that we are constantly evolving is such a peaceful way to take the pressure off of so many things that we are feeling in our lives. And taking the pressure off is another way that I stay up, which I shared with you last year in April. And really, taking the pressure off allows you to reclaim your power, right? We've been hearing that a lot lately. And since we are constantly evolving, this means that who we are, our tastes, our interests, our opinions, our thoughts, our people, our tribe, our desires are constantly changing. And for the most part, they're changing in really small ways. And interestingly, the majority of our evolution goes unnoticed until that change or that evolution is brought to our consciousness and brought to our attention most likely through a result of discomfort or enlightenment. And what this means is that we tend to only notice evolution when things are really good or when things are not really good. However, when things are cruising along, right, when we don't notice our evolution, this is when those small changes are evolving within us and with the people around us and the world that we're living in. Because let's face it, right? No one is exactly the same as they were 10 years ago, right? We can all agree on that. And even 1 year ago, right? Just think of how different you are from 1 year ago. For one thing, we've all aged, right? And our physical bodies have evolved. So think about fashion, food, entertainment, your job or your career, cars, personal care, interests, language, right? Some of the phrases or lingo you were using, technology, and people. Think about each of those things in your life 10 years ago and how many of those things are exactly the same, right? Very few. And when we notice our evolution, it's a perfect time to realign ourselves with our happiness and our values. It's almost like a checkpoint or a refreshing of the browser to check in on what this current version of you after you've evolved, right? And you're constantly evolving. What this current version of you what makes you happy by connecting to your values and how you're operating to see if they match who you are now. Because here's the thing, when we miss these checkpoints or forget to refresh that evolution browser, we tend to get stuck. We tend to feel overwhelmed. We feel hopeless, stressed, troubled, unfulfilled, and all of these things that we don't want to be feeling because we're not in alignment with this new version of ourselves. So we have evolved, but we haven't checked in to match our happiness and our values with this new version of us to see if we are operating with current concepts, right? So what happens is we evolve and then we forget to check in on our happiness or our values. So then we tend to operate with old habits, old beliefs, old behaviors that used to make us happy in our older version, right? And with a simple realignment by upgrading our habits, our beliefs, and our behavior can change everything, right? So there's a simple exercise I do with all of my clients who are going through this evolution while they're working with me. And it's called upgrading your mindset. And it's almost like a blueprint or a roadmap where, we kind of identify simple ways to identify your evolution and ways to pause to check in on your alignment and making sure you're upgrading everything in your life to match and connect with your current new version of who you are. And, I know a lot of you out there, I'm a recovering rusher, right? A lot of you out there are rushing through your life and you're just on your grind. And for those of you, I invite you to ask yourself, is the way you're operating making you happy? And are you fulfilled? That is your moment to pause. If the answer is no to either of those questions, that is your moment to pause. And, because some of you, you may have evolved numerous times by now without checking in on your happiness or your values. And you may be operating with very, very old habits, beliefs, and behaviors from possibly when you were young, right? And that's what was happening to me. Which is why I created the upgrading your mindset exercise for myself first. And I've been sharing it with my clients because I was moving forward, but I wasn't checking in on my happiness or my values. And it was operating as I was in my 20s, which for those of you who knew me in my 20s wasn't working out so well. So slowing down and checking in on your evolution is such a powerful gift to move your life forward, and you deserve it. So I'm curious to know, how have you evolved in this past year? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys, and I'll see you next week. Bye.